At a field day, all of the participating farmers got together and were able to discuss how they were going to use those maps and how they were going to start to implement the property management plans. And this was really useful because it gave a chance for the different farmers as well as the Bruny Island Environment Network to get together and talk about the project and really sort of help each other out with how they were going to achieve the outcomes that we wanted to achieve.
Now this is Bruny Island Berry Farm. It's been established now for approximately 2 years, and we're now growing something like I think about 10 or 11 different types of berry plants, mostly strawberries. When we first established the berry farm, we had the environment officer from the Kingborough Council come down, and he was looking at the big blue gums in the front of the farm here, and he noticed that there were swift parrots in the blue gums. So to assist with that process of the nesting of the swift parrots, we managed to plant something like 200 or so blue gums, and they're going extremely well. They're probably up to nearly 3 metres high now in just over 2 years, so hopefully they'll become a nesting place for more swift parrots in the future.
Conservation Volunteers Australia, CVA, were able to come in with teams of volunteers to help out those farmers to undertake some of the actions that were identified in their property management plans. Some of these have been weeding within the reserved areas, as well as fencing off areas of habitat to exclude stock, and planting of more native species to increase the area of habitat.
So looking at it now, you just would have absolutely no idea of what this was like. It was completely, as I said, totally covered in blackberries. The blackberries were even up 3/4 of the way up these big blackwood trees here, and there's no way I could have done all of this on my own. So conservation volunteers have certainly done a marvellous job in clearing all of this area out as well. But there seems to be a lot more wildlife, and particularly fish in the creek now than what there was before. I think I've estimated that we've spent something like 300 working days re-establishing the creek. Now, there's absolutely no way that I could have possibly done that on my own, and I value greatly the assistance of the Conservation Volunteers Australia in doing that. So much so that we've actually now establishing some walking tracks through the habitat of the creek, so that other people can enjoy what the conservation volunteers have established down there with the native plants and getting rid of all the blackberries.
The property's called Inala. It's a 500-acre property just north of Cloudy Bay Lagoon on Bruny Island. So most of it, about 80%, is forested, and the balance is pasture, and I run beef cattle on it. The main benefits that I can see being involved in the scheme is the access to a lot of expertise, and also producing maps of my property with soil and vegetation that I never thought would be possible, and opportunities, I suppose, for funding and help with volunteers, for example, helping to put up fence lines, and all those things, just come together, and it's a really great benefit to me being able to manage my property effectively. I've had a couple of CVA volunteer teams on the property, and they've been absolutely fantastic. I really enjoy the mix of people that come from all parts of the world, and the thing that really gets me is that they're volunteering their time to help me on my property. You know, they're volunteering their holidays to come and help me, and they're doing a really great job of it.
I really enjoy CVA. Today we did fencing and a little of weeding around the new plants.
I'm one of the local volunteers with CVA. I come quite regularly. At the moment we're on a residential project on Bruny Island. At the moment we're working on a property called Waterview on North Bruny Island, doing some fencing maintenance and some tree maintenance. It's part of a project to provide habitat for the 40-spotted pardalote and swift parrot. I love working with CVA because we get to see different places which I normally wouldn't see, and get to do some hands-on conservation work. And you meet interesting people too.
They're really committed people. They're not time wasters at all. You know, even the most mundane jobs like, hoeing through blackberries and everything day after day, you know, they'll just keep at it and always with a smile on their face and everything. And they're helping me to manage my own property and not getting a cent for it. You know, it's fantastic.
Nowadays there's an expectation of farmers that if they've got native bush on their properties, especially threatened species habitat, then they should be protecting it. But often, even for farmers who want to do the right thing, they simply don't have the time or the manpower to do what needs to be done to maintain it, weeding, fencing, all those sorts of things. So I think it has to be acknowledged that there's a role for the community to actually support those farmers, to do what's basically in the community and everyone's interest. I think one of the best outcomes of this project has been to show to farmers that they do have support, both from the broader community, people wanting to volunteer, as well as through programs like Caring for Our Country, that they actually can do what's needed to ensure that these natural places are protected into the future.